Hey everybody, it has been a long time no see. My name is Chris Odie and I am here for Zombie Orpheus Entertainment to do a little bit of Culture on a Stick. The thing with Culture on a Stick is that the routine and the format of the show is going to be a little bit flexible. It will evolve at times based on who is around to host it and kind of what kind of format they like to do, and also based on what's going on in the world, what's going on around with Zoe, what's going on in general, things like that. So tonight, you get me. And for those of you who are immediately changing the channels, I understand. I will miss you, but I totally understand. Also, just so you know, the wonderful TV behind me was supposed to be replaced a little bit ago. Mark Thomason and I had set up this wonderful 55-inch beautiful 4K TV that was going to be our new backdrop, and that is no longer the case because it wouldn't work. It was busted out of the box, which stinks. So instead of having this great background, we have this little one that's just going to continue to do its best job. And I'm sorry, Mufasa, I know. You can't take me seriously without the hat and ears. That's fair. The hat and ears are actually right over there. I could go grab them and slap them on, and we could see how that would work. But yeah, I want to take a moment to check in with you guys. There's been a lot going on in life and in the world. Right now, I am trying to separate two windows here so that I can have chat open with both YouTube and Twitch. I'm also hearing myself on a slight lag off of that screen, which is so annoying. But thankfully, Mark is here, and he's going to work his magic and make that go away. Oh, for crying out loud. I really do know how to use technology sometimes. Stop making the screen embiggened. I don't want to embiggen the screen. I was making it small on purpose. Son of a... There we go. Okay, we've got two windows. That's a start. The irony being that I switched over to my own laptop. No, I am muted.
Oh, no, that's not muted on your computer.
Yeah, it is. I got mute right here. I'm almost always muted on my computer.
No, I'm just talking about the tab still.
Yeah, everything's muted. That seemed to fix it now. Maybe you just needed to do it a couple times and now we're good. Okay, cool. Let's see, so now I have two screens up, but I can't find... Son of a... I know what I'm doing, really. No, I don't, actually. I just want chat. I want to see what's going on. I feel lonely right now. I can't see them. That scares me. Okay, I can see YouTube's chat. Why am I not getting chat's chat? I'm not getting Twitch's chat. I know, I want them both to be able to... Oh, here we go. You know what? Rai probably... You know what? We should blame Rai. I blame Rai. I had an hour-long conversation with Rai yesterday. Did I mention that to you, Mark?
Yeah.
I didn't tell you that? It's a good conversation. He called and we touched base. I like him a lot. And this is so irritating that I can't see chat. All it is showing me is my face, and I don't care about seeing my face. That is ludicrous. But if we could move this so that it can be visible to me, if it could be turned.
If you just type slash and then chat.
Really?
It should do it.
Really? It's that simple?
Yeah, it should be.
Well, looky there. Something's happening. That's fantastic. It seems to be good. Awesome. I did not know that little hack. That's a hack attack. Ha ha! Cool. Okay, and I can actually read those words. My 40-year-old eyeballs can read that. Always ask IT hotline, and they say you did restart. Yes. But I did reset the system. I made sure to do that. Thank you, Oli Number, for the praise. You know, I almost wore my Odie shirt, my great Odie shirt, but I thought that would be incredibly vain. No, I wasn't in theater mode. It was just when I was making the screen half and half, it wasn't showing up correctly. It was just like, I don't know, just showing me my face instead of the part that mattered, which is you guys. So there's a lot of things we could talk about right now. Oh, PAX, Metaverse will be coming back, I promise. You've seen the results of the polls, so we know that there are still cast members who are interested in coming to play. So we will be doing that. So that's going to be good. It's really fun. I've got Mark doing all these things down here, trying to get everything set up. We're very professional around the Zoe studio, and we encourage cardio and exercise and such by making the crew do these limbering exercises. A lot of planking going on down there. More, I don't know. I'm expected to be loved by my wife, but outside of that, and my kids, and I guess my friends and my family. Yeah, I do expect to be loved. That's true. I'm very demanding like that. So, how are you guys doing? That's what I wanted to touch base with tonight, and just kind of check in. I know that many of the folks who have come to join us on the live stream, obviously you've got a large number of folks who have gotten to know us a bit through our time with Hyper RPG and running Death from Above and Metaverse there. And obviously there's been some recent news going on around folks involved with those shows and such. And I guess I should start off by just kind of checking in and seeing how you guys are doing. I have applesauce, Imp. I do right here. In fact, was it Zardoz? It was Zardoz who set the box, right?
Who?
Zardoz? Was that the box?
The box before.
The box that we just opened a moment ago.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, so the box has arrived, and it came with some nifty things, and then PAX sent a box with applesauce, so I have this going on. Oh, Strix is there in chat. That's awesome. In hindsight, it would have been great to be able to have had time this week to touch base better and to hang out. All right, you're tired, Strix. That is fair. I think you've had a very long week. I think a lot of people have had a very long week. I think in the interest of kind of disclosure and just getting into that so that we can, I don't want to say, not move on, but just so that we can talk about things and have everybody on the same page. So if any of you didn't know, this past week it was revealed publicly that the former GM for the Death from Above game that several of us had been involved in over the last couple of years, some pretty awful stuff came up about the way that he had been treating friends and I guess also some co-workers. A lot of stuff coming up around harassment and abuse, and I think there was, I want to be careful about words I use, but I do believe there was even some references to assault or to definitely unwanted sexual touching and such. And so all of this came up this week involving Tyler, and I know it's been very hard for many people in the community, people who are big fans of DFA, people who are fans of Battletech, people who are fans of other shows that we've done, and it has definitely been a rough week over on Twitter and Discord and elsewhere. Although having said that, obviously, I say that with the full recognition that anyone who is, who's been directly impacted by that. Is frankly feeling things a lot more than some of us who are a little more on the side. But I would agree with what Strix just said in the Twitch chat, which is I think there's been I've been very proud of the response I've seen from folks this week, and how folks have been reaching out to those who were so directly impacted, and just the maturity even around all of those conversations and such. Was really heartening to see, and so I'm thankful to see that has been present for folk. Candidly, some folks have asked those of us who are kind of associated with more directly Zombie Orpheus, kind of trying to ask us how we're doing and such. To be perfectly honest, most of us weren't super close to Tyler, and I think it's fair to say that most of us really feel like our impact on this or how we've been impacted by this is really very different from the folks who have known him for years and have had this existing relationship. And so, it's just such this sucks, I think that's really what it comes down to, is this sucks. As a pastor, many of you know that's my full-time gig. I've done a lot of conversations with people over the years. I've sat with folks who've been struggling with the aftermath of assault and rape and all sorts of things. And, you know, it is always so hard to see people you care about in pain. And, you know, one thing I remember, you know, learning really early on in SEM was this idea of the ministry of presence was a term that was used by one of my profs talking about counseling, and just the idea that, you know, so often our instinct in situations like this is to try and fix it, try and almost unintentionally make it about us and not about, you know, whoever is coming out with whatever pain they've experienced, and that's just not how it works. Sometimes what we are most able to do and provide for someone is to be present, to acknowledge the suck that they are sitting in, the hurt that they are experiencing, and to just treat it seriously. And it never quite feels like enough when that's, you know, what you're able to offer. But so often that just means the world to people. You know, having said that, you know, for those of you in chat or other cast members or anything who've been kind of dealing with this, you know, it's the stuff that we're dealing with. It may look different, but it's also valid and it's also real. And so I know I've seen several people in chat and on Discord, thank you, Val Viper, and agreed with what you're saying there, Strix. You know, just because someone in chat, just because you feel like, hey, I've just been watching the shows, I don't actually know these folk in real life, etc., that doesn't mean you can't also be having some sort of emotional response to this, and it's real, and it's not a competition. It's not, you know, it's not a game of whose situation is hurting the most and who gets to experience it the most. That's just not how it plays out. Nope, Amor, I don't do tarot readings as it is, but I do know people who do. So if you go to Gen Con this year, I'll hook you up with someone who does. You know, I don't think anyone has any questions about, I'm not seeing any questions or anything, but for what it's worth, I did want to give the opportunity, if folks had any questions for me, for Zoe, and to a lesser extent for the folks who came to DFA through Zoe, I'm willing to be present and available to address those if you have any. And if you don't, that's okay too. And you know, we can talk about other stuff as well. This is not going to be nearly as much pop culture, I think, as the last Culture on a Stick. And well, I guess, you know, in some ways this is something going on in culture. It may not be pop culture, but it's certainly something that is going on. I'm going to give it a moment to let chat catch up to where I was just speaking and such. I have no idea, Amor, but I wish you the best on figuring that out. I am looking forward to Gen Con this year, Amanda. I'm looking forward to it a lot, actually. It's for very many reasons. You know, yeah, Chris, that is totally fine for the Tyler stuff to go over your head. And I do apologize. We did not go into this week expecting to have this be something that was going to need to be talked about on today's show. And at the same time, to not address it seemed so heartless and just, pardon me, bullshit, that we really felt like we had to at least talk about it a little bit. And so I do apologize, Christopher. I know some people have no idea what I'm talking about, and I appreciate your patience, or at least your deference on letting folks who are experiencing some hard stuff kind of roll with that right now. You know, Mufasa, I don't think it's actually going to make it harder to bring back the show. You know, we'll still be running it as DFA Legacy, and Matt Shimkus will still be the primary GM. My assumption is that I will hop in at times as well to pinch hit. I think BJ, I think he'll hop in at times as well. And there's at least one other person who's mentioned an interest in GMing, but I don't want to say I don't want to say who I don't want to say who that person is just yet until they have actually confirmed. So Shimmy will probably be the primary, but there are at least 2, if not 3 of us who are available to back him up. You know, I think what's going to make it harder to bring back is less about the Tyler stuff and more just about trying to get the logistics of the show going. How would I advise folks who love the DFA that Tyler was engaged with the content? How would you advise folks who loved the DFA that Tyler, the DFA that Tyler was engaged with, that content going forward? I apologize, I might have made a mistake on that. I did not say she, well, I might have said she. Anyway, we'll see what happens. You know, I think Strix, I saw something that I think it was Lauren posted on Twitter, talking about the idea that, you know, it is okay to still love something, especially in this situation where so many other people were involved in the creative process. I mean, the GM on DFA, the GM on any of these shows, obviously has a huge role, but it's a community effort. It's definitely the work of the entire body, and it's not just his show. It never was. And you know, I know that when I had the opportunity to GM Renegades, Death from Above Renegades, that was something I really felt was important, that it wasn't just about anything I came up with. It was about what the performers came up with as a group. And you know, similar to that, frankly, it's one of my favorite things to do when it comes to GMing a show like this, is to just let the cast run and to create an environment and set up scenarios in which they can play and create and make that stuff happen. And I think, you know, when you look back at those old episodes, yeah, Tyler was the GM, and he was, you know, had obviously that responsibility, but it was not just him. It was a group effort in that. Do we make still revenue on the hyper RPG versions of Metaverse VODs? Should I wait for the Zoe ones? We are not partnered with Twitch, so we don't really make any money through Twitch other than what shows up on YouTube or other things like that. It's just, you know, it's just how we're choosing to do things right now. Honestly, we were really hesitant to even start broadcasting to Twitch, just because we really wanted to kind of respect the space that Hyper has been working on. And as we've been slowly getting to know Geek Space, I've, you know, wanted to kind of try to stay out of everyone else's kind of dancing space. So I don't see a world in which we become a partnered streamer with Twitch. And so you know, we are very much funded through Patreon, very much funded through you know, YouTube views, Amazon views. We have a couple of new live streams that are going to be coming up that'll be predominantly working through what do I want to say, our own the Fantasy Network, and as well as Amazon. And so that's, you know, we've been doing crowdfunding, Zoe in one form or another. We've been doing crowdfunding for 20 years. So I mean, it's what we know, and it's you know, we've always kind of tried to find ways to de-emphasize how much the funding had to happen live and on air. And that's another thing we're excited about with, you know, with the studio here, is being able to produce content in a way that will allow people to do shows that don't necessarily immediately generate easily commodified or monetized story arcs, but still allow people to create and tell a good story, or that allow people to have good conversation and create community. You know, since Strix is in the chat right now on Twitch, you know, I mean, I think what the stuff she was doing on Weekly Affirmations is a great example of a show that isn't necessarily geared towards immediate throw money at the show, but is really interesting in a fun space. And so allowing, you know, those kinds of shows space, and I'm not implying that she's hopping on board. I don't mean to, I'm not trying to, you know, what I want to say, force you into anything like that. But, you know, allowing space for that kind of content to be created, I think, is important. And it's something that, you know, Zoe as a whole has always really striven for. You know, back in the days when the only way to get content out was through, what I want to say, when the only way to get content out was through, you know, physical media in particular, you know, from the day one, we tried so hard to cram as much stuff on every disc that we ever made. You know, I remember the very first release of the Gamers, watching Ben come up with new and other things that we could slam onto that just so we could try and get as much stuff out as possible and give people as much bang for their buck as possible. Yeah, I would agree. You know, I'm just gonna say Baka because I've never known how to pronounce the last 2/3 of your handle. I think it's totally okay to just acknowledge that when, you know, that on those shows, it wasn't just Tyler, it was everyone who was working together on that. And that's still the case on anything that you see us creating. You know, that it is very much a group effort and very much a community effort, and at the same time, that's why stuff like this sucks so hard. You know, in addition to the fact that it was just so utterly repugnant and not okay. Yes, views do always help. Alien Knitter, thank you for saying that. Amazon views do help us more than YouTube views, but YouTube views help us more than nothing. So, you know, it's all good. I am hopping all over the place because I do that, so I'm getting used to this format. If I could redo things from about 30 minutes ago, I would move the medium screen that's here, right here, so I could do this. Right now I have to do this, which is more of a move. So, or I have to do this. So, right now I'm watching Mark out of the corner of my eye debate whether or not to move this TV over. It's really cute. I really appreciate that. And now he's grinning because he knows that I just called him out on that. And I think he's gonna do it. I think it's gonna happen. I'm excited.
If everyone like
they all know it's coming. Let's leave it right there. I think that is the best place possible. Let's leave it right there. That's good. Don't worry about the cords in this. I can pop my power. Thank you for watching Culture on a Stick. We'll be back later on.
Back there for some reason.
I did not mansplain it. I was just explaining to you what I was doing. Oh, that was so entertaining for me. And now I get to watch it delayed on the screen. I'm so happy. Hey, thanks, Windrow. Is that blocking the screen, or are we clear now? You're gonna check?
We're good.
We're good now. Oh, awesome. Okay, this is actually much more. Apparently, I look to the left more. I don't think explaining has to be mansplaining. I actually really hate that term because I've totally had women mansplain me. I've actually had my 6-year-old mansplain me before. It looks like it's almost there. I think it's still a little bit off to the side unless you just adjusted it. But I do think that form of explanation and that kind of condescension is really common and unhealthy, and especially common, frankly, in, like, I hate to say it, but in a lot of geeky gaming circles. You know, it's annoying as heck. I don't know if it's because so many of us have spent so long feeling like we had to justify ourselves, and so, you know, is that part of the root? I'm not sure. Is it because, you know, gamers tend to be fairly intelligent people, so we're used to not always talking to people who understand us? Is that part of it? You know, I don't know. Let's see, Zoe Content, Canadian Amazon Prime. Any suggestions on search words? Ben, can you help with that at all? Emily's asking about Canadian Amazon Prime over in the Twitch chat and such. Yes, Patreon and the Fantasy Network are the best ways to support us financially. So, I know I'm hopping off of the Tyler stuff for a while. I'm totally willing to go back to that because that's how this works. So, if someone does want to bring something back up, that's cool. You can do that. But I'm going to hop over on some of the Gen Con stuff that came over now. Yeah, it is a good scene, Imp. Yeah, Gen Con this year is looking to be a lot of fun for us. I can't say everything that we're doing. I wish I could. I can tell you we will be back in our standard booth number 100, which is, frankly, I think the best booth in the whole building, but it is for us, so I'm glad we have it. But booth number 100, we will be there. We'll have, this year, I'm going out, Sarah Sanders Odie, Christian Doyle, Maggie Doyle, Ben Dobbins, Brad Roberts, Keeson Holt, Matt Vansel, Samara Lerman, Jay Irwin from the Gamers the Series will be out there. Mark Thomason will actually be out there as well, and Gail Strong as well. I think it's most of the people I can think of right now with a direct Zoe connection. Oh no, well, Elizabeth Hiley will be out there, one of our managers, and Rennie Arakto will also be out there as well. And so we're excited. I think this is the first time we've ever had all 5 members of Zoe's management team at Gen Con at once. And it's almost never that we all get together anyway. So like, hey, what's going on for Strix right now that we're congratsing her? I want to know what's going on in the world of Strix.
Her game's at E3.
Oh, she's doing stuff at E3?
No, her game.
Oh, her game is at E3. Oh, AK posted it. Nice. Very, very cool. That's awesome, Strix. Congrats. That's, yeah, man, that's, huh. Yeah, I mean, that's, you know, don't get me wrong. This is, I don't know if this is me just trying to find the good or something like that, but in the face of all of the crap around Tyler's behavior, I am so thankful for the people I met through that show. And, you know, that I don't want to give undue credit, but I mean, yeah, there's so many layers to all of that to try and unpack. Yeah, anyway, I'm glad to have gotten to meet you, Strix. That's what it comes down to. I'm very, very thankful for that. And congrats on the E3 stuff. You know, continuing my, oh, this is kind of fun. So Christian is right now texting me because he's concerned about people for tonight. And then he just butt dialed me a moment ago, so that's good. I'm gonna text Christian right now and just let him know that I saw this message, because this is apparently the professionalism that we have for you today. There we go. Yeah, man, I would love to go to E3 someday. I don't think that's ever going to happen in my lifetime, but that's okay. Yes, dude, are you texting and streaming at the same time? Yes. I was for a moment there, Ben. I do apologize. This is why you almost never let me be alone on camera. It's true. It's very true. A PS, yeah. Oh, yeah. Actually, I mean, selfishly, and now that we're kind of making some transitions, I am so excited that a lot of the stuff that has been bogging down our ability to do stuff around here is finally starting. Like, we had a great time at MobyCon. I don't know if I explained that to folks. Mobile, Alabama, MobyCon invited us down this year to do a live show, which is available to Patreon backers. We did some streaming from on site. We did, we ran some of the DHRPG. We did some panels, all that fun stuff, and it was great. And at the same time, like, it was another responsibility to take care of, and like trying to get this space set up has been another responsibility to take care of. And we're finally getting to that point now where you can kind of see things like Metaverse and DFA can actually become a focus again and get ready to launch those shows. Which Ben is now following up on in Twitch and saying that at this moment. No, we are. We for those who don't know, we just recently we sent out a poll. We got a bunch of information back, and we now finally know what the availability looks like for all of our folk. And so as a result, we're finally able to start scheduling stuff. And honestly, I think one of the things that was also kind of a hurdle on scheduling stuff was I'm going through a bunch of changes in my personal life, in my career, and as a result, that has been something I've had to put some focus on as well. And so that has made it harder for me to be as on the ball with stuff around here as I would generally prefer to be. So I do appreciate everyone's patience, but we also are impatient to get stuff going. So it's going to be happening. Yeah, absolutely, Baka. Totally. I mean, all of that stuff you guys have been experiencing are completely and totally valid. Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, it's interesting, like just kind of processing out loud myself right now. I spend so much of my regular life because of my job, dealing with other people's stuff and kind of working with them through their stuff, that I think in this sort of situation, in some ways, I almost take some things as just a given without even remembering that everyone else might need to kind of talk about it a little bit. Or not that I don't need to talk about it, just it's hard to explain because I'm trying to continue to talk while live streaming, while also watching 2 chat rooms, and also being aware that at some point in the next half hour or so, Christian and Maggie and Vanessa and whoever else are going to come through that door. So that's all in my head. Zardoz, the shirt is so awesome. Oh my gosh, the shirts are so cool, man. They're so cool. I cannot wait to wear them. Brad is on his way. I wish I'd known Brad was coming down here. I had money to give him. Then I just give it to him and not deal with it myself. That's annoying. Yes, Zardoz sent a care package to chat, and Zardoz sent a care package to the studio, and as a result, we have a lot of we have some fun stuff to share with you guys in the near future when DFA launches. Hey Chris, what will the Gamers Live shows be this year at Gen Con? Can you tell us the titles? I can, Zombie Orpheus. Thank you for asking that. Friday night at 7 p.m. in Indiana Convention Center number 500 will be Gamers Live Waffle-ocalypse. And Saturday at noon in ICC 500 will be Gamers Live Rise of the World Builders. And that one will be a lot of, they're both going to be fun. The Saturday show is going to have some very special guests as part of that show. We'll be using, we will have the wonderful Mercedes Lackey will be coming in to help us. Her husband, Larry Dixon, who's a fantastic author on his own, will also be there. Jolly Blackburn, who does Nights of the Dinner Table, will be part of the crew, helping us out with that show. And I will leave out any other guests who may or may not be coming. And the Friday night show, I'm really excited because I get to GM it. And so that will be interesting because I have not GM'd the Gamers Live at Gen Con before. I did Emerald City Comic Con this year, but I have not done the big one, as it were, the Gen Con show. So that will be pretty fun. And then Christian is going to GM the Saturday show, and at some point we're going to tell Nathan about this. He won't watch this, so he doesn't know, and he's not on Twitter, so you can't tell him there either, or in Discord. So that's cool. I didn't even think about that. I could just talk about Nathan for like half an hour. Mark isn't paying attention. Never mind. But yes, that's some fun stuff that's happening at Gen Con. We also, Ben is doing something pretty cool at Gen Con that I'm not sure we can speak about yet, but when we can announce it, it's friggin' fantastic. And I'm very excited for him and that he gets to do this. And we're gonna have a whole bunch of Demon Hunters RPG sessions, and we're going to have, we're gonna be showing Strowlers, Mongolia, and Ireland. We're going to be showing Rocketmen, which is a fun show that some friend of ours have worked on. Journey Quest 3 will be there, Demon Hunter's Slice of Life. It's going to be another, as always, it's going to be a really, really fun convention. Really looking forward to it. A lot of hard work, they always are, but a lot of fun and good times to hang out. So that's going to be awesome. And I think we're actually going to be able to release, the plan is to be able to release all of the Strowlers pilot, the Seattle show, Strowlers Ireland and Mongolia, Demon Hunter's Slice of Life, and something else. Ben, what am I forgetting? There's some other disc, right? Aren't there 4 discs that we're going to have this year that'll be new? Oh, the Gamers, The Shadow Menace. Holy cow, my brain not working. The Gamers Season 0 and the Shadow Menace. Those will also be available, and the leather-bound Strowlers World Bible. Yes, there is going to be a whole bunch of stuff that I have to figure out the logistics for getting out to Indy and how to get it back. Thanks for that, Mr. Ben Dobbins. People get to break you at Gen Con. Yes, they do sometimes, actually. We won't be, I don't think we'll be live streaming from Gen Con. I really wish we would, but I am 99% sure we will be recording and then uploading stuff soon afterwards, similar to what we did for Gamers Live last year through Hyper. Although this year we'll be dropping it on our own stuff. So Yes, this is also true. Larry brings up a great point in chat. Larry Dixon and Mercedes Lackey will be at our booth, booth number 100 at Gen Con, and they'll be available to meet fans and sign autographs and hang out. They're really nice people. If you are fans of their work, or if you have not read much of them yet, they're very talented and they're very nice, fun people just to hang out with. And I really enjoyed last year watching Mercedes like just lovingly accept some of her fans when they showed up and freaked out on her, and it was really cool. Voodoo, where are you? Where are you that is the middle of Nowhere Con? Because I mean, I'm driving out to like Kansas this summer, so you know. Victorville, California. Was that anywhere close to when we went to Modesto last year? At all? I mean, maybe, has a chance, has a shot. Because Modesto Con was fun last year, I will tell you that. Closer to Death Valley than LA. Okay, you got a point there. You win on that one. I've been through that way though then. Man, so are you near, what's that city that sells, Indigo? Isn't that what it's called? Or it's an I word. Ben will be upset if I look on my phone, so I'll subtly use my computer and not tell you that's what I'm doing. What is that I word city in California? It's close to Death Valley. Inyo. It's not Inyo. Is it really? It's not Inyo. That can't be. That sounds like a joke. Inyo, California. That doesn't sound like a real thing, right?
It does.
Is it really? It's in. Huh. Interesting. Huh. What worlds would Zoe and GG people like to see in future live stream games sent in? That's true. Ben is in Canada. He can't start. Really?
Yeah. My indicator says.
So I have to swap to this one? Can I just put them next to each other? If we, you know what we should do? Instead of changing batteries, let's just keep adding more lavaliers. And then eventually I can have all of them. Is this one still on also? Oh, it is going to die. How was this one even working? It was on mute. Whatever. Okay, what else can we talk about? And again, I seriously, guys, like I know that we're definitely talking about some other stuff now, but if anyone else does want to touch base at all about more of this, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what. Is that the one? 6 labs make it surround sound. That sounds like a great idea. Oh man, you know it's. You don't bore me, Sarah. Joe's Diner will be back. Metaverse will be backpacks. We need to get this stuff going on regularly. It's been way too long. I know I keep saying that, guys, but it's been way too long. You know, I don't think, one of the things that's been very interesting for us on working on all of this is, you know, we learned a lot from watching Hyper's model, obviously Hyper RPG, and at the same time you have Chum Chum. It is kind of our gimmick. We have tech issues on every show because we just, well, that's kind of related to actually what I was about to say, which is, you know, it's funny to think about how we're learning. We learn so much from these folks who are trying to do, who are doing like this full-time, you know, gig with all of these people who are making it their vocation, and then here they're all, you know, here we have this group of people who are working elsewhere and then doing this as kind of like their, you know, hobby that's gotten out of hand, which, you know, makes it really easy for this kind of level of professionalism. Ben is dying up in Canada right now. I just know it. How can you be hearing me? This says that it's muted. Yeah, this says mute. Seriously?
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
You can still hear me?
Yeah.
So this mute button is just for show? Like, can you see that? You probably can't. It says mute right here, and then it was flipped over, and then it's.
It doesn't show up when you mute it on the device. Like, it doesn't say that you're muting it.
It says here I'm muting it. That's weird. So interesting. Okay, whatever. That seems like a really great way to kind of like, I don't know, have some really inappropriate things get said on air because you think you're not live, and then you find out you were just talking trash about someone. Fortunately, I never do that unless it's Ben, or Christian, or Shimkus, or Vansel. I don't talk trash about Stevie. So glad none of them will watch this later. That's good. You're chatting on the animation. Yes, I'm gonna just sit here and be your cartoon character. Like no good Dixon kid. Yeah, I know. We really need to be getting. I am sorry it's taken so long, guys. I know I've said that a lot. You know, it's crazy. Is the belt pack locked? I don't know. Let's find out. You know, what's funny is I have used so many mics in my life, and yet I only know how certain ones work. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. I mean, so long as you guys are hearing it, that's really all that matters. Yeah, Zombie Orpheus. Ben Dobbins, Zoe's GM, is general manager, is in the Twitch chat right now, and he just made a comment about a motion capture thing that he's been working with, and it's actually pretty interesting. It's like an animated motion cap real-time thing that has some serious potential for making some very fun stuff with shows. I don't know if I'm allowed to say anything more than that, but you know, I think it's pretty cool from what I've seen of it. And if I'm wrong, then you know, Zoe's game master. You are kind of our game master, Ben. There's some truth to that. Which, you know, also means that everything goes off the rail and none of us actually listen to you, and you have this story you've been trying to tell for years, and we all know it's never actually going to take place. Oh, let's see. I know Pax. I know Paximo really, really wants her Metaverse fix back. It will happen. It will happen. Absolutely. It wasn't intended as shade. It was just intended as bitter honesty as a GM himself. Oh, well played, Mr. Dobbins. Nice reference. Lose 50 experience points. If you were to make a AAA film trailer for Metaverse, what song would you use and why? Oh man, interesting. Man, what would be a great... Hey, anytime you want to throw money at us, Lumiere, just hop over to StrayLogic and Zoe.StrayLogic and just do what you want. Nothing will happen. I mean, we'll see if it makes the noise. What would be a good song? That's a really good song. What would be a good song to use for a trailer for Metaverse? You know what would be really no one would see it coming at all? I was just thinking about I Dreamed a Dream from Les Mis for some reason. I mean, that would be a really dark turn on it, but I can actually see where that might be appropriate for some of the characters. You know, Tub Thumping, Chumbawamba's Tub Thumping, I Get Knocked Down might also be another great song for a trailer for Metaverse, given how often the characters are hopping back and forth from, you know, one reality to the other. You know, I can't help but run the Quantum Leap theme song through my head sometimes when we're doing it. Yeah, Let the Bodies Hit the Floor. That's good. Out of Time by Hall & Oates. Oh. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay. Let's see, it's 6 o'clock, so I only have to stall for a little bit longer before the DHRPG crew shows up. I'm also really excited because Christian sent me a message that said he had figured out the missing cast person issue, and so that means it might not be me that's going to do it. And don't get me wrong, I'm willing to do the show, but I also have other stuff I can get done. So if someone else can do the show, that's okay. Sweet Dreams would be a great song for that. Wow, for a Metaverse trailer. Whatever it takes. Nice choices here. The Gene Wilder song from Willy Wonka. What are the words to that? There's no way of knowing which way the river is flowing. Yeah. You know, it's weird that I don't know that better. When I was in elementary school, that was like the only movie that the Auburn school district had okayed for people to watch. So anytime you won like a giveaway thing in the school, it was always a pizza party and Willy Wonka. So I mean, I've probably seen that movie more than any other movie in my life, and somehow have never picked up the words to that song. Are any of you like that? I'm never good at memorizing like film quotes and stuff. You know, I listen to some of the other folk, you know, Christian and Shimmy and Maggie, and you know, they'll like just drop like every reference to every movie they've ever seen. And I always find myself like, I can't do that. I don't know why. I stink at that for some reason. Yeah. Thank you, PK. I appreciate that. Thanks a lot. Yeah, Holy Grail, I could do a couple from it, but I can't do as many as I'd like. Sometimes I just try to memorize like bits and pieces from things so I can work them into a live show, because people appreciate the call out and the reference, and then it kind of seems like you know what you're talking about even if you really don't know what you're talking about. I think that's a huge piece of my life now, is just trying to seem like I know what I'm doing. You know, that's... Oh, hey, should we go like not... Well, yeah, I mean, you guys want to go like serious again for a moment? Because that just made me think about impostor syndrome. And that just made me think about, I mean, honestly, it just made me think about Anthony Bourdain. And was it Katie Spade, I think was her name? I'm not huge into fashion, so I actually don't remember her name as well. But there's been all of this conversation I've been seeing, at least, about, you know, imposter syndrome, this idea of people who are, by most people's measures, very successful and such, and then find themselves feeling like they're a fraud, like they don't really actually belong there. They don't really belong, yeah, Kate Spade, thank you, Emily. Like they don't really deserve what they've accomplished, that they're somehow, you know, living a lie. Like man, it's just so hard. I mean, I don't, and yet, you know, not to turn it into like self-therapy or something, but I mean, I kind of get that. Like so many people I know who are so talented kind of feel like they're just faking it, you know? And why do you think that is? Like, what is it about? Is it a new thing? I mean, have people always felt that way? Is it more common now? You know, what is it that prompts that? What is it that prompts that kind of nagging self-doubt? Are we just trying to measure ourselves against, have we been told for so long that we have to measure up to someone else's metric, and you know, whatever that artificial metric is, if we don't hit it, that somehow we feel like we've fallen short? You know, where is it that, you know, you see the kind of depth of doubt that's going on? Because I agree, self-doubt's always been there. And I think it is true. It is easier to see other people's worth than our own, for many of us at least. So I wonder where we get that from. And then how do you work hard to help people understand that they are valid, you know? I find myself so often even in my regular, you know, day job, my regular life as a pastor, so many conversations I have with people trying to help them understand that they actually matter. You know, the number of people I listen to and talk to who seem convinced that there's something wrong with them and just with them, that everyone else has things figured out and they don't. And you know, people seeing the perfect lives on social media, yeah. Or if creating a thing happens only within the self, doesn't get seen or understood or appreciated until it's actually presented to other, but then it's too late to fix it. Makes people scared. That is a really interesting insight there, Strix. You know, it's amazing how much of the vulnerability that is involved in doing creative stuff and such. Let's see, Christopher says, Age being raised with pride being seen as a negative more than being self-critical. I think somewhere they will either even out or reverse. Let's see that. Interesting. You guys have me pondering now. I'll be thinking about this on my way home tonight. Yeah. At the same time, I mean, I know you were kind of joking, AK, when you said it, but I think there was some truth when you made that comment about that everyone kind of feels like they're faking it to a certain degree. And you just kind of thought that was part of being an adult. You know, one of the things I'm starting to realize, for myself at least, is just a increasing comfort with not being in control, which is weird because I like being in control. But for example, like this evening, I knew that at some point we were probably going to need to talk about Tyler and about all the stuff going on with, you know, the revelations about what he had done and all of that. And my kind of thought process was, well, I have no idea how it's going to go, and I have no idea who, if anyone, is going to ask anything. I have no idea if I'm going to accidentally say something and put my foot in my mouth or what's going to happen, but we're just going to go do this and have this conversation because it's the right thing to do, and if we're respectful and honest with each other, we can figure a way through it. And you know, I don't know if that's relative or not. Ooh, Red Bogey, welcome to the Twitch chat as well. I know that's going to be one of the things that's kind of tricky about how we're trying to do this. By streaming on multiple platforms, we functionally have multiple chats, which functionally means we have multiple communities, which means we have to figure out how to do a better job of integrating them. So that is going to be a challenge going forward, and something that I know is actually not just like, hey, it would be nice. It's actually important that we figure out how to do that, and how to keep people, you know, feeling part of the larger whole to the degree that they want to, even while they settle on whatever platform is most comfortable for them. So, yeah, I know what you mean, Amanda. I'm also finding that. Like, there's something about the 40s right now that I'm kind of like, it's nice to be getting to that point where you realize you don't have to care as much about what other people think about you. Hi, it's Brad.
I'm not here.
What? But I'm so happy to see you. Didn't you hear the joy, the legit excitement in my voice? Brad's here, everybody, just so you know. Not Brad the talking turkey leg, I'm sorry to say. This is the full-grown adult male version of Brad. And, you know, but we're glad that you're here too, Brad. Brad Roberts, if you didn't know, is a member of the Zoe management team and a integral part of the Zoe convention crew, especially out at Gen Con and ECCC. And someday we're going to get him on screen. That's going to happen. It is. Your arm's been on screen?
Yeah.
Pixar, it didn't happen, Zardoz. I've got my phone right here. Yeah, actually, if I do this, he's going to run away or cover his face. So.
And I was actually briefly in.
There you go. Yes, you were. You were in Attack in the Darkness. If you look in Attack in the Darkness, when I did not. It's like trying to take a picture of a ghost, only harder. He got away from me. It is Discord, Brad. Yes. The Attack in the Darkness, near the end when they are premiering the film, you do see a clip of Brad handing out or taking tickets from people as they are entering into the film. So that is true. I do. I have profile. I have applesauce. It's everything is right with the world. This is actually part of, I think, Pax's stash that she sent to the studio. I realized my throat was drying out, and I thought I would cheat by trying to fix it. I don't know. I watch. You know what I should do? You know, Ryan is back around. I should ask Rai to come in sometime and just do random hype for us while nothing else is happening. That will be the entire stream of the day. Is just Rai doing hype. Ryan doing hype for like 30 minutes. You think? Would that be good? An hour? Like, I think what we do is we bring Ryan in and have him do hype and pretend that it's because something is going to happen, and then he's just being like really, really intense and energetic, and everybody's getting excited. But then that's the entire show. I would actually love to see that sometime. And how you doing, Christian?
Doing good, man.
Cool. Christian Doyle is in the house now, which means we're getting close for the Demon Hunters RPG. Let's see. Yep, Christian is here. There, Jackson, trying to get caught up on chat again. I do appreciate you guys hanging out though for a little bit. I know this has definitely been a kind of low key and not as, I don't know, not as much of a adventure through the realm of geek pop culture. But as I was telling you a bit ago, I really don't feel like I can speak intelligently on geek pop culture at all. I can speak intelligently on politics, but that's not something we're going to be doing right now. I can speak intelligently about, probably ministry. That would be a thing. Parenting. I really want to do a show with just like one or two guests and sit down and just have like honest, deep conversation with them and with chat. I think that would be fun. Like that was the version of Honesty Hour I first saw over on Hyper that I really loved, and I would love to do more of that. PAX, there is going to be an all-women one-shot RPG. Like that's not even like a is there going to be? It's already been planned out. So you can just acknowledge just know that that's gonna be happening. You all set?
Not quite.
Not quite?
We'll be a few minutes.
Okay, cool.
Gotta get ready
Ooh!
to write an adventure.
Etymology, that is something else I love. Word origins, yes. Roundtables are amazing. So is applesauce. You know? I actually had.
So you broke open the case of applesauce.
I broke open the case of applesauce. I appreciated it. These are the ones from PAX.
Oh, those are the ones I brought in?
No, these are the ones that PAX sent in.
Oh, okay.
The Larry ones are all gone.
Oh, man. Okay, well, I'll bring in more.
Mm-hmm. Chris's Candid Conversations. Deep Thoughts with Chris. I'm going to choke on applesauce now.
What did you guys talk about?
We talked a little bit.
Did you talk about the schmuck?
We talked a little bit about Tyler. Not a ton, but a little. Kind of checked in with how people were doing. You know, it's interesting. Not interesting is not the right word for the situation. It's poop. It's giant.
It's such poop.
Giant pile of poop. Man, I did not catch the Bleed roundtable. I caught AJ and Zach talking about race. Was one of the ones I saw and really enjoyed and appreciated. But I bet that Bleed one was fantastic. You know, that's something. It's in a totally different, not totally different direction. One thing I think we have kind of played with and wrestled with ourselves as we've been doing this live streaming thing is learning about, not learning about, but kind of how our, it is so interesting how there is, well, for example, there's Christian Doyle right here to my left. You're right.
You would think. Who knows?
It might just be Matt Shimkus doing a great impression.
Right.
That's true.
He does do good impressions.
He does. But like, there's this version of you that we hang out with. You and I hang out and do stuff.
Yeah.
And then there's like the kayfabe version of you that we see on stream.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's like the actor you might be playing in a given role. You know what I mean?
I rarely play actors, but yeah.
You rarely play actors. That was... Thanks for that. Maggie is here too, which means we're getting really close to starting up. I haven't seen you in a while.
I know, hi.
It's good to see you.
Me too.
But yeah, like that, I think that would be an interesting conversation to have too sometime. Well guys, right now I'm just trying to fill in a couple more minutes before you get ready. I think the cameras are all set up for you though. We had a new larger TV we were going to use. We got it all set up. Didn't work.
Oh,
Yay!
Yeah, it was 55 inches of broken.
Man, that's just like me.
That's not true.
You're quick. No, you're taller than that, aren't you?
Yeah, you're like 65.
Oh, you learn.
It'll be fun though. You should join us.
So we have what? Who do we have for the Demon Hunters RPG?
So yeah, this has been a day.
It has been a day.
It has been a day. Because Vanessa was supposed to be here and got called into work. Like she had her shift arranged to be covered today.
So Vanessa cannot make it.
Right.
Okay.
But she arranged for Xander to be here.
So Xander.
Like, she got him all bust up to where we were,
Okay.
so he could pool up with us. And she's like, since I'm letting you down, I'm gonna take care of it. Here's my replacement. I got this worked out.
Awesome.
That's why she's the best.
Awesome. So Xander's out there. I'm gonna meet Xander.
Yeah. Xander's out here.
Sweet.
But then I guess Keeson couldn't make it,
Correct.
which is unfortunate.
Correct.
And I've been calling, and I've had very little luck.
I've had very little luck as well.
However, I got a whole cast for next week if we need it.
Sweet.
So
Do you need a fourth for tonight?
I do.
Okay. So Brad, are you ready for your
I was
debut?
planning on heading south.
He's been here because he's been here so long. Yeah, I tried. I already tried.
You guys can come in.
Is that your new business, Mags, on your shirt?
Yes, the Green Lady Marijuana.
Awesome. Green Lady Marijuana. I cannot wait that we're going to plug your store during the show.
Olympia, Washington. Come buy marijuana from me.
So I tell you what, guys,
Get the chat
I think we're going to hop off for a second because we need to get all the things figured out in the next 12 minutes before the show starts. Thank you for hanging out with us.
I have to write an adventure for Demon Hunters, which also starts in like 10 minutes.
You never write the adventure.
Well, I've got something special planned today.
Cool.
I want to make sure that some of it gets on paper.
I love the stuff you come up with off this, I think you do your best work when it's like, pedal to the metal,
I
like,
just make shit up.
yeah, like there's no safety net, let's just go.
But I never go in without a story in my brain.
Well, that's true. That's true.
This I don't have quite hammered out yet how I want
That's
people
true.
to get where they're going. I just have who I want in it.
That's
But
fair.
I'm introducing a whole new Demon Hunter chapter today.
A whole new Demon Hunter chapter
Yeah.
today. That sounds worth watching.
It will be.
Well, thank you everyone for hanging with us for a bit. I know that this was a little low key and such, and we will, as always, be kind of developing how the show looks from week to week, based on who is here and what's going on and all that stuff. But we are very excited that in the next 12 minutes or so, we're going to have the next installment of the Demon Hunters RPG. So that should be hella fun. So much fun. I said hella.
Yeah, you did.
I did right there. And so we'll catch you guys in a few minutes here on twitch.tv/zombieorpheus or over on youtube.com/zombieorpheus.